Hey everybody, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about building diatonic chords, and also we introduced the concept of the Nashville numbering system. Now today I want to take a step back because we talked about some major and minor chords, but we really didn't define what makes a chord major or minor. And I also want to reference an earlier video where I talked about intervals. It's the distance between two notes. And when we talk about steps, half steps, and whole steps, the half step is the smallest possible interval. Now, from C to D flat, that is a half step. We're going to go ahead and give that another name as well. We're going to call it a minor second. We can also go down from C to a B. Next possible closest note, that's also a minor second down. It's a half step, okay? Now, we also stacked those half steps and we're able to make a bigger interval. So, for example, we went from C to D flat and then from D flat to D, and that was two half steps. We made a whole step. We're going to go ahead and give that interval the name of a major second. Okay, so minor second, major second. We can also do the same thing going down. So here's our C, half step to B, another half step down to B flat, C to B flat, a major second. The next possible interval that's a little bit bigger, we go from C to D flat, that's one half step, two half steps, then a third half step gets us from C to E flat. Okay, if these were seconds, we're going to call this a third. We're going to call it a minor third, okay? C to E flat is a minor third. We can also go down a minor third from C to B, it's a half step. C to B flat is a major second, two half steps, and we're going to go down to the A and make a minor third going down. So the next interval that we're going to look at is four half steps, or in this case, we're going to call it a major third. So from C to D flat is one half step. Then here from D flat to D, second half step, third half step to E flat. And we're going to stop on an E, C to E. And there is our major third right there, okay? Now we can go up, we can also go down. C to B is one half step, two half steps to B flat, A is a third half step, and then A flat, C to A flat. That is our major third down. The reason that's important, I want to take you back to what we did in the last video. We built chords, okay? And so just going back to the very first chord that we built a C major chord. And from the root of the chord, the C, to the middle note being the E, that is a distance of four half steps, or as we learned a moment ago, a major third. Now, if we keep going from the E to the G, that is a distance of three half steps, or a minor third. Because from the C, which is the main note of the chord, the root of the chord, we call it, to E is a major third, this qualifies as a major chord. All right, that's how we determine that. Now, if we can have a major chord, we can also have a minor chord. Using the same outside notes, the C and the G, if we were to swap the intervals and only go up from C to an E flat, making that a minor third, and from E flat to G, making that a major third, then we would have a minor quality chord. So on that C minor chord, the reason we call it a C minor chord is because the distance between the root and the middle note is a minor third, three half steps. Now, that means that the middle note of the chord is really, really important. That's what determines whether it's major or minor. We call that note the third. So it's either a major third or a minor third, and that will qualify the chord as a major or minor chord. So in our C chords today, we call this the root. Then we use either the E or the E flat to make the chord major or minor, but we haven't really defined what this guy right here, the G of that chord, would be. That would be the fifth. Okay, so we call this the root. Then we'd have a third of some sort, either a major or a minor third, and then we'd have the fifth of the chord. And whether we're using a major or minor interval here, that stays the same. That's our fifth, and here's our root. Okay, so root, third, fifth. Those are the three parts of our triad. All right, so now that we've defined how you determine whether a chord is major or minor, now it doesn't matter what key you're in, whether you're in C or G flat, This is true of every key. Typically, if you're using diatonic chords, your one chord, we're in the key of C, so we'll use our C chord. Our one chord is a major chord. When we go to the second scale degree, that's going to be a minor chord. Our three chord, that's going to be a minor chord. Our four and our five are both major chords. Here's our four and our five. Our sixth chord is a minor chord. Now, I talked about the seventh scale degree last time, and I kept kind of putting that off. So I'll go ahead and explain that now. A chord built on the seventh scale degree in the key of C. We're looking at B as our seventh scale degree. How that's so unique. Okay, so that one, if we're using all diatonic notes, in this case all white keys, we went B, we skipped the C, we went to D, we skipped the E, and we went to F. This is the only chord in the scale, in the diatonic scale, where you will use a minor third here and a minor third here because of the way the notes end up working out. We go 1, 2, 3 half steps to the D, and then from the D to the F, 1, 2, 3 half steps again. There is our diminished chord, okay? Unlike the other chords in the scale, there is no major third interval in that. And that's what makes it sound kind of eerie and dark, okay? I want to wrap up by sharing this little cheat sheet with you. Now, it does not have any of the flat or sharp keys, but if you look down the left side, you can pick any key and then go across the chart and see which chords are going to be major or minor, and it'll tell you the numbers at the top in Roman numerals or Arabic numerals. The little M's designate the minor chords because the M's are lowercase. Also, if you look at the 7, there's a little circle after the number or after the letter that designates the chord as being a diminished chord.